A desperate FBI raids Mike Lindell as the Biden administration descends into panicked madness. We're going to take a look at the latest raid of an ultra-MAGA supporter. We're going to see why Republican leadership has grown so silent. And make sure to stick them at the very end of this video when I'll reveal why all of this proves that it's not just Biden panicking, but indeed the deep state itself. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. It's me, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, here to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and insane times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Again, make sure you click on the link below and give some love to the sponsor of this video, and that's the amazing company called Replace Your University. Our dear friend Michael Lush is showing patriots by the thousands how you can build your own personal parallel economy so you can do more of what you love, like fighting for freedom without worrying about your financial future. He's even going to show you how to pay off your mortgage in 5 to 7 years. You heard that right. He's amazing. Check them out. Click on that link below. Book a free consultation call with Michael. He's one of us. He's a patriot, and he's here to serve you. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. Look, I don't think there is any other way of saying this. The Biden administration, the DOJ, the FBI, they are panicked. They are utterly hysterical, desperate about something that Donald Trump has on them. I don't see any other way of interpreting what's going on here over the last several days, besides from adopting the various conspiracy theories rooted in TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, of the lamestream media and the Democrats. Outside of TDS, I simply can't think of any other explanation for what the FBI is doing here, apart from a frenzied sense of desperation. The Biden administration knows the GOP is about to storm Congress. The question is not whether they're going to take over. The question is only by how much, how big will this red wave be? They know that means that Jim Jordan and Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene will be heading oversight committees with subpoena power, and they know that the Hunter Biden laptop will be front and center for the 2024 election. This is the irony of deliberately burying the laptop in 2020. It's like Michael Myers from Halloween. You can't kill it. It just keeps rising up again. But there seems to be something else, something that implicates far more people than just bumbling Biden. And that something is what is panicking not just Biden, but the whole of the DOJ and the FBI. Now, as many of you know, last night, the FBI raided our friend Mike Lindell, My Pillow. Here's Tucker Carlson's report on that disturbing development.
I told you last night that the Biden administration has politicized law enforcement to the point where it feels Soviet, and we were not overstating it. The FBI has just raided the guy who sells pillows on this channel, not because the pillows were bad, but because they don't like who we voted for. Matt Finn is tracking the developments in that story tonight. Matt?
Tucker, Mike Lindell, known as the Pillow Guy, reports on his live stream, Lindell TV, that FBI agents located him, questioned him, showed him their badges, and asked him questions about Colorado and Dominion voting machines, and then provided him with a warrant to seize his cell phone.
And he says, we're FBI. I said, show me your badges. So they show one badge. I said, how about yours? Because I don't trust anybody. Like, there's bad people. Well, they do that, and they said, what do you want? And says, we need to talk to you. So I pull over, and
Mike Lindell said he initially told those agents he would not surrender his phone because he does not have a computer and runs all of his businesses off of that phone. Lindell published on his live stream what he claims was the warrant for that phone. We do not have Lindell's account confirmed right now, but we will be looking into it and keeping you updated, Tucker.
FBI raiding the Pillow Guy. This has got to be peak insanity. If that's true, at some point, this can't continue. Matt Finn, I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
All right, and Tucker is absolutely right. This is beyond insane. And it can't continue. It is going to require Republican leadership to stand united against this insanity. Unfortunately, given our current crop of leaders, I wouldn't hold my breath. If you go to websites like National Review, that was once considered the intellectual soul of the Republican Party, as of the making of this video, they didn't so much as mention Mike Lindell or any of the 50-plus raids that have been happening over the last several days, for that matter, against Republicans. No, they're too distracted by the allure of maintaining the integrity of our interinstitutional functioning of our federal system, waxing eloquently above the fray. They simply can't be bothered by the common folk, just when it comes to election day, and only if they're voting for the neocon rhinos that we in National Review champion. I mean, it's utterly sickening. And the irony in all of this is that while they sit aloof at the cosmopolitan keyboards of their liberal laptops, the rule of law that serves as the connective tissue of that federal system they're so enamored with is unraveling right before our very eyes, precisely because the system of checks and balances is so radically under assault, not by Donald Trump or the MAGA movement, but by the infestation of cultural Marxist sentiments in virtually every single cultural sphere of our nation. Look, we all know that if we take several steps back, right, what are we seeing in our nation today? I mean, think about it. Take every single cultural institution out there, the media, right, the corporate world, the universities, the medical field and hospitals, our legal system, Hollywood, music and entertainment, our sports, our professional sports world, every single one of those spheres, every single one has been completely captured by woke political correctness. Everyone. We see it every day on the mainstream media. We see it every day in our universities. We see it pervade the NFL and the NBA. We see it all throughout pop culture. We saw it on display in our medical fields during COVID and the BLM riots. Every single one of these institutions has been captured by wokeness. And parenthetically, this is why our concerns are so readily and easily dismissed by so many people in our lives that we would otherwise see as fairly rational, intuitive people. Have you noticed that? They don't see what's happening. They so callously dismiss or even scoff at the very things we believe are destroying our nation, our cultures and our customs, our very way of life, our standards of living. And they do so precisely because our points of view are inordinately affected by cultural norms and institutionalized ethos. These are the dynamics that forge for us what's natural and normal. And over the last century, progressives have been geniuses at taking over the very cultural institutions that define social normalcy. But here's the kicker. When cultural Marxist norms take over all our major institutions, then the government is free to begin politically persecuting all those who reject those woke norms. And it's free to do so precisely because the very institutions that were always meant to provide a balance of power, a system of checks and balances, of pushback, like the media or the free market or art and entertainment, they've all stopped speaking truth to power. Instead, they only end up parroting the power, like the borderline illiterates Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert do every single night. There's nothing that the woke left does politically that will ever be criticized or pushed back against by institutions infested with wokeness. And so cultural Marxism has created the very conditions in our nation necessary for this radical political persecution. That's why no one other than Tucker or the alt media is saying a critical word about all of these raids. Now, again, as Victor Davis Hanson has pointed out, they've taken over all the cultural institutions, but they have not taken over the people. That's how the Soviet Empire fell. You could take over the institutions, but if you haven't taken over the people, then you're eventually doomed to failure. And that's why I think the Biden regime is so desperate in the end. But there's something else going on here that explains this rampant desperation, something much more sinister. But first, let's show Mike some love today by clicking on that link below and visiting his amazing mystore.com. Gang, if you use my code Turley, you're going to get 25% off any item you purchase on my store. If I may, I would recommend his amazing patriotic coffee. I've been drinking bags of it. Let's show Mike some love and support today. Click on that link below and get 25% off all your purchases by using code Turley. All right. Political strategist Dick Morris, who talks to Trump regularly, is this week arguing that what's really happening here is that the FBI didn't raid Mar-a-Lago in order to find documents that incriminate Trump. The FBI sees documents that incriminate them, particularly involving the Russia collusion scandal and the role of spying on Trump's campaign and fabricating evidence throughout the entire process. This explains why the FBI's whole stated rationale for the raid has thus far been totally absurd. Again, when all is said and done, because the President of the United States has ultimate classification authority, the DOJ is accusing President Trump of a crime he cannot commit legally. You can't apply classification standards that are applicable to anyone and everyone but the President of the United States to the President of the United States. All of that is just an excuse. It's a ruse, right? They know the liberal media is going to parrot it, so it's all an excuse to seize documents that detail the illicit activity that's been going on in the FBI and DOJ involving the whole Russian collusion hoax. That's why they're so freaked out about the special master getting appointed. And that's why they're raiding so many people like Mike Lindell, who have Trump's number, as it were. They're looking to see how far and wide the evidence of this corruption has been dispersed, not to mention try to find something that they can get Trump on as well. So obviously we're going to be keeping a close eye on here, but there's no question that the Biden administration is absolutely panicking. But it's not just the Biden administration. It's the deep state that's panicking as well. As always, make sure you smack that bell and subscribe button. You'll definitely want to check out my latest video on Justin Trudeau panicking himself as patriot populists storm Canada. You're going to absolutely love it, so make sure to click on that link, and I will see you over there. God bless.